And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Thank you. To Art, I had prepaved this from 2 years ago. I was second. And today I said I was going to be second again. After that, your lovely young lady over there. So, thank you.
We told you there was trouble in this room.
That is me. My first question is deja vu. I've been having a lot of deja vu moments where something happens or it's about to happen, and I get a chill and I know it's about to happen. I've seen it. It happened twice today, even seeing you split on the screen saying, I have decided. I had seen that before. Sometimes I can tell when I've seen it, and it's been so far back, it's, years. Other times I don't know. And it's not just with big events, it can be something as small as I'm about to go to the bathroom, let me grab my phone, and I already know what's on my phone. As a creator, how does that work? How do you influence that? Because if I'm seeing things, and obviously I've created them, how do I create these little nitpicky things?
First, we want to say nothing else would be logical for this reason. Since everything is vibrational, and we've been talking endlessly about this vibrational reality that you've created. And so, as it manifests, it could be accurate to say it's old news. By the time you allow the manifestation of it, a whole lot has already come together. So, the thing we most want to tell you is that when you begin having those kinds of experiences, it's a really good indicator that you are very close to the vibrational speed of that broader perspective. That's the thing that Esther kept saying to her friends as she was enjoying the unfolding of this beautiful castle. Deja vu, deja vu, deja vu, having experiences that she knew she had already had. So much had been in the vortex, and she had been so close to the vibrational proximity of it that as those events began to unfold, it was evident to Esther that on some other level, she had already had the perceiving of it. That's what it is.
Okay.
The best part about having those experiences is the bridge that it makes in your understanding that you have been creating on many levels, and that this now manifestation is just another one of the levels. And as you become more and more aware of what's going on before it manifests, then the more pleasure you take in all parts of the unfolding of it. The more conscious you are of it, the more satisfying the unfolding of it can be to you.
Okay. Because I've even seen that, where you gave the example of Esther's castle and saying that the deja vu.
Sometimes we have said this gathering happened before you dragged your physical bodies here. And it's because who you are vibrationally and who we are vibrationally, people want to call that probabilities. The only thing that is probable about any of it is how vibrationally up to speed with any of it you are, so how much awareness you actually have of it. That's why when you really get in the flow, you begin to feel an invincibility and a sense of well-being, because you can feel how many pieces of it are all coming into place to assist you. In other words, last night at dinner, Esther was visiting with friends, staff. They went to Esther's favorite place and had really a wonderful meal together. And they're just being playful and fun, and someone was talking about what their departures are, and they were thinking about who was going to ride to the airport with who, and it's a conversation they sometimes have, not always. And Esther decided to get really playful about it, and she said, because they weren't mentioning where she was in the mix, and she wanted to know who she might be riding with. And then someone said, "You're not leaving until 9 p.m. And Esther said, that's several hours after checkout. And that's 3 hours after the Spurs game begins in San Antonio. Something's gone terribly wrong with my reservation, which she made. And so she got back to her computer and looked. Sure enough, she had booked herself out on a 9 p.m. flight, not a 9 a.m. flight. Well, that wouldn't have been a happy thing to discover in the morning. It was the perfect thing to discover when she could do something about it. And the feeling she had was not, oh, what a foolish girl I am, although the feeling she had was, things are always working out for me. In other words, the conversation, those who were involved in it felt the naturalness of it, but it was specifically to impart to Esther information that she needed about something that she was not aware of. In other words, she was having the opposite of deja vu. She was having, I don't know what, I've got my head somewhere it shouldn't be. But no matters, because somebody is always looking out for you. In other words, the universe knows what your intentions are. Esther had very clear intention. She's been visualizing making that flight, having that nice rest in that comfortable seat on the airplane, meeting with her family, going over to the AT&T Center, settling in, playing a really good team. In other words, Esther's been thinking about that. She can hardly wait for that experience. There's no possible way that the universe was going to let her miss it. You see what we're getting at? Or any of you miss anything for that matter. You are so well taken care of, and there are so many ways to get to where you want to be. And when something is so clearly in your vortex, it doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made along the way. If your vortex is clear and you're living happily as Esther is, something's going to come to show you where you need to be. And so, as you accept that, Esther didn't feel any discomfort about her dysfunction. Not any. Because she knows how well tended to she is, you see.
I know in my vortex I have put my empire there. I go through too much contrast for it not to be there. I've had glimpses.
That's a clever way of putting it, isn't it?
I've had glimpses. I know my company's motto. That came to me one day. What process can I do to realize more? Because I'm starting to think the reason why I got the motto was to move forward with it.
Well, that motto was an inspiration. In other words, that was you being up to speed with what you're wanting and translating a vibration into something that was meaningful. But there is something really good that we want to chew on with you here. And that is, so you get what he's talking about. He knows the process. He's lived the contrast. He knows he's created a vibrational reality. And now he's eager for the manifestation of it to begin happening. But the thing that happens over the years, as we've been visiting with so many of you, wanting you to find that sweet spot where you are visualizing what you want, but not visualizing what you want to the point that you notice that you don't have what you want. In other words, it's finding that place. And so recently, as we've begun really emphasizing the path of least resistance and talking to you about turning the thoughts to things, we want you to feel the not just value or importance, but the satisfaction of being in that comfortable feeling place of expectation. So just before you, and it was really a wonderful precursor to this conversation as we were visiting with our friend, as we were wanting to emphasize with him that there is a point in time to begin specifically visualizing. And you say it all the time, and we really want to say it right now. Timing is everything. So if you get more specific than your vibrational frequency allows you to be a good translator, then your specifics beat up on you. They backfire. So it's about being sensitive. In other words, those feelings of deja vu, that means you're in that sweet spot and you're actually retrieving information before it's even, as the manifestation actually happens, you recognize that you've been there already. Well, hear how good that is to have been there already, to have been there already. Talk about expectation being in the right place. Talk about belief or knowing being in the right place. And so, really, what we're wanting to say to you in response to this really important question is, we talked some time ago about scripting, about actually telling a story the way you want it to be. But there is a trying too hard factor that many people began. In other words, you're going to really like this, stay with us, it's going to make perfect sense. It was like trying to use the script to make it happen rather than receiving the script because it had already happened. Can you feel the difference? So if your intent is vibration, 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 happy, 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 path of least resistance, path of least resistance, feeling as good as I can, feeling as good as I can, feeling as good as I can. When that's what you're going for, not making it happen, letting it happen, because you understand the laws of the universe, and as you said, I've lived so much contrast, I know my vortex is full. There's no question that it is full, but how do I get it out of the vortex and into the bank? How do I turn those thoughts to those things? So this conversation is about recognizing by the way you feel that you're in that sweet spot, and then not making it happen, allowing it to happen. Don't make the images come to mind. Let the images come to mind. Don't write the script, receive the script. Any of you who have been in a creative process like art or music or Esther as she's writing books knows what that feels like when you sit and try to write it as compared when you sit and it writes itself through you. So all of you are in this kind of creative process where you're wanting to allow it to, in other words, here, we can give you the words really, really well. Receptive mode. Receptive mode. The creative mode is the receptive mode at this point in your game. The creative process is 3 steps. You want it, you sift through all the stuff, you put it in the vortex is there, your source is tending to it, it's coming into vibrational fruition. But to be in the receptive mode means to be in that place where the idea occurs to you. And that's the part that you're reaching for now. Not getting all the way over here, just relishing in being in that place where the ideas are occurring to you, where the emotion is occurring to you, where you're knowing it. That sweet spot. Let's call it the sweet spot of the receptive mode. You say, ooh. And then as it happens, you know that feeling when you say, oh, I just got the best idea. Well, think about it. I just received the best idea. I was in the receptive mode. I was tuned in, tapped in, turned on. I was up to speed. The idea was already done. You've had enough deja vu to know that. The idea had already come to fullness. Now it's a matter of you getting to be in on the translation of it. You all think that you want, someone to create a wonderful reality and to give it to you, and when that happens, you'll be blessed. Admit it, isn't that sort of the way most humans are looking at things? Someone has evaluated me and seen me as worthy, and they have created something good for me, and they will give it to me when I am worthy. And we say, it's not like that, it's not like that, it's not like that. It's that it does exist, it has been created, but you don't want someone else to do all the bringing of it together, and then boom, there it is. You want to be in on the ideas. You want to mold the clay. You want to feel the idea moving around in your mind. You want to experience the birth of that idea and that one and that one. You want to be in on every single part of it, because fruition and manifestation and demonstration, all of that is the delicious nature of this physical reality that you came to live in. You see, you didn't just come to prove your worthiness. Oh, I've come to prove my worthiness. You came to incrementally choose it and align with it and feel it and know it and revel in it and feel worthy of it, and then to receive this impulse and this impulse and this impulse, so that when the full manifestation of it comes, you're sitting right inside of this incredible whatever it is, and you're feeling all the deja vu-ness of all of it. In other words, oh man, I was in it, I was in it, I was in it. Everything about this is my creation. I am the creator of this, not just the blessed receiver of this.